All right, so this next question is from Jake. Jake asks, hi, I have a 5-month-old German Shepherd male. Can you give me some advice on increasing food drive for training? It's a really good question, and this is something that not enough people ask me about. I always stress the importance of using food in training when we can, right? And with all of our board and trains that come here, we'll utilize food with them because we have control over that resource, so we can manipulate it and get it as motivating as we can in order to help with the process. The more motivated the dog is, the easier the training goes and the more fun the training is for the dog. Unfortunately, in one-on-one sessions, because we don't have as much control over that resource, we tend to need to pressure a lot more things with the dogs. And not that it's terrible. I mean, you're still gonna get the same end result, but the dog's not gonna have as much fun throughout the process. So I spend a lot of time coaching my clients through the importance of getting their dog on a consistent feeding schedule. So it all starts with not overfeeding your dog. Most people feed their dog way too much, right? If you are ever running into a situation where your dog is leaving kibble in the bowl during mealtime, not immediately going for that food when you give them that okay to go for it, being picky, finding yourself needing to give wet food or anything additional past your kibble, then you're already off to a bad start. So what I do is I first and foremost get the dog on a steady feeding schedule where they're eating 100% of what's placed in front of them every single time. So say, let's use the example of a dog and you're feeding 2 cups in the morning and 2 cups in the evening, but the dog's hit or miss on eating all of that food. Typically for the first week, I'll go with a dramatic shift to get them essentially rebooted with things, right? So what I'll probably do is I'll probably switch to 1 cup in the morning and 1 cup in the evening and ensure the dog eats all of it. So you put your 1 flattened out cup in your bowl, you put it down for the dog, you give the dog 5 minutes, 10 minutes to eat all of that food. After that, even if there's still food left in the bowl, you take it away, you toss the food, and then you wait until dinner time. Dinner time comes around, you give your dog another cup, right? You offer that food, you give them 5 to 10 minutes to eat all of it. If they eat all of it, fantastic. If they do not eat all of it, same deal, toss it, wait till next meal time. Now the key here is that most people, if the dog doesn't eat all of it in the morning, but eats all of it in the evening, will take a little extra and give a little extra to them in the evening. You cannot do that. The purpose is that if the dog skips a meal entirely or misses some of that food in the morning or the afternoon or whatever it is, they're gonna be extra hungry the next meal, and they're gonna eat all of their food, but they're gonna still be hungry because they didn't get enough in the morning, which will cause them then to eat everything the next meal. And then as you go, it will balance itself out. Now, because I go a little extreme with it initially in cutting the food back to ensure we get things rolling properly, typically what I'll do then is after a week to 2 weeks, I'll adjust a little bit if needed. And I go in very small increments. So I tend to adjust in increments of like a 1/4 cup depending on the size of the dog, right? So then for the next week to 2 weeks, you'll do 1.25 cups, right? And what you wanna do is you wanna find a manageable amount of food where the dog is very motivated for it, highly engaged in that food, and not overeating, obviously, right? And keep in mind, if you started at 2 cups twice a day and then you go down to 1 cup twice a day and the dog starts consistently eating all of it, maybe that's fine. Maybe you've been feeding double too much, right? So give it plenty of time, build that food drive that way. And then the second key factor with this is that you're gonna wanna start working the dog for those meals. So once you have the feeding schedule established, what you can do is you could start feeding their breakfast and then maybe take their dinner and put it in a treat pouch, stick it above their kennel, and then in the evening time, make them eat that food out of hand, right? So train them, offer that food throughout the training, and if they take it, great. If they don't take it, same deal, they're not gonna get it, just like in the bowl feeding that we were doing. And doing those things will help build dogs' food drive. I rarely will actually use treats. I tend to just use my dog's kibble for training because I've really never seen a dog that wasn't motivated enough for it once you had him on a consistent feeding schedule. So hope that helps. Building food drive is really important. I'm glad you're asking that question. And those are kind of some of the steps that I take to get dogs started on it. Piece by piece.